This story is about a woman who keeps living the same day again and again. A terrible event is going to happen in her life, and she is given a strange chance to stop it. If she can change what is coming, her life might become normal again. This is the story of premonition. At the start of the story, we meet Linda and her husband Jim. They have been married for many years and have 2 young daughters. From the outside, they look like a normal family, but inside their home, things are not the same anymore. Linda and Jim still care about each other, but distance has grown between them. They talk less, and their relationship feels cold and tired. One day, Jim leaves home for a business trip. The next morning, Linda wakes up alone. She checks her phone and finds a voice message from Jim. In the message, Jim sounds serious. He says, "I want to tell you something. You should know this." Suddenly, he says that he is getting another call and asks, "Is that call from you?" Then the message suddenly ends. Linda feels uneasy. She tries to call Jim back but cannot reach him, so she leaves him a voice message. After some time, a police officer comes to Linda's house. He looks very serious and sad. He tells Linda that Jim died in a car accident the day before. Linda is shocked. She refuses to believe him. She says that she just received a voice message from her husband that same morning. But the officer explains that Jim really died earlier and that the police tried to come to her house the previous day but could not reach her. Hearing this, Linda breaks down completely. She is unable to accept the truth. Linda's mother comes to stay with her to help. She takes care of the children and tries to support Linda. Linda becomes very quiet and distant. She barely speaks to anyone. One night, she falls asleep on the sofa. When Linda wakes up the next morning, something feels wrong. She finds herself in her bedroom, and her clothes have been changed. She feels confused. She calls out for her mother, but no one answers. Then she hears the sound of the television coming from downstairs. When she goes down, she is shocked to see Jim sitting there, alive, calmly watching TV. Linda cannot understand what is happening. She thinks maybe everything was just a bad dream. Later that day, Linda drops her daughters off at school and returns home. She carefully checks the date and time. She looks at her phone again, searching for Jim's voice message, but the message is gone. There is no record of it at all. Linda knows this cannot be just a dream. Something strange is happening. Linda goes out in her car, trying to think clearly. Suddenly, a police officer stops her. It is the same officer who told her about Jim's death, but this time, he does not recognize her at all. This makes Linda even more certain that her life is no longer moving in a normal way. That night, Linda sleeps beside Jim. She stays awake for a long time, watching him closely, afraid that he might disappear. The next morning, she wakes up and finds that Jim is gone again. Her clothes have been changed once more, just like before. This time, all the mirrors in the house are covered with cloth. When Linda goes into the bathroom, she sees an empty bottle of lithium medicine in the sink. Soon, Linda hears voices downstairs. When she goes down, she sees her mother, friends, and relatives gathered in the house. They are preparing for Jim's funeral. Linda insists that Jim is alive and that there must be some mistake, but everyone believes that Linda's mind has been affected by the shock of Jim's death. They think she is not thinking clearly. Linda then goes outside and sees her older daughter sitting alone on a swing. Her daughter's face is badly injured, and Linda has no idea how it happened. Feeling helpless and confused, Linda is taken to the church under everyone's pressure. At the church, Jim's funeral is taking place. The coffin is brought inside. Linda wants to see her husband one last time. Everyone tries to stop her, warning her that Jim's body is badly damaged. But Linda does not listen. She insists on opening the coffin. When it is opened, she finally sees the truth. Jim is really dead. At last, Linda accepts that her husband is gone forever. After the burial, while people are praying, Linda notices a young woman standing far away, quietly watching everything. Linda asks her mother who the girl is, but her mother says she does not know her. Linda walks toward the girl and asks her name. The girl says her name is Claire and tells Linda that they spoke the day before, but Linda remembers nothing. When Linda asks how she knows Jim, the girl does not answer. She simply turns around and walks away, leaving Linda with even more questions than before. Linda goes back home and looks once again at the same lithium medicine bottle. This time, she notices something important. Her own name is written clearly on the bottle, along with the name of a doctor. Linda becomes worried because she does not remember ever visiting a doctor or taking this medicine. She tries to find the doctor's phone number in the telephone directory. But when she looks at the page, she sees that the page has been torn out. For a moment, she feels helpless. Then she notices the dustbin nearby. Inside it, she finds the torn page. She carefully joins the pieces and finally gets the doctor's phone number. Linda calls the clinic. The person on the phone tells her that the doctor only works from Monday to Friday, and since it is the weekend, the doctor is not available. Linda feels even more confused because she has no memory of meeting this doctor at all. After some time, the same police officer comes to her house again, the one who told her about Jim's death earlier. This time, he is not alone. A few other people are with him, and among them is the same doctor Linda was trying to contact. They say they need to take Linda with them. Linda refuses and says she does not need any help. Soon Linda's mother arrives. She tells Linda that she should go with them because she needs medical treatment. Linda strongly disagrees and says she is completely fine, but then her mother says something that hurts Linda deeply. She says that the injuries on Linda's elder daughter's face happened because of Linda's mental condition. Hearing this, Linda becomes quiet. Finally, they take her away. At the hospital, Linda is tied to a bench so that she cannot move. The doctor speaks to the police officer and tells him something shocking. He says that Linda came to see him on Tuesday and told him that her husband would die on Wednesday. And exactly one day later, Jim really died in a car accident. Because of this, both the doctor and the police officer start to believe that Linda might somehow be connected to Jim's death. Linda keeps saying that she is innocent and confused, but no one listens. The doctor gives her an injection, and soon Linda loses consciousness. When she wakes up again, she finds herself back at home. Once again, her clothes have been changed. She hears the sound of running water from the bathroom. She slowly walks there and sees Jim taking a shower. This time, Linda does not panic. She assumes that everything she is seeing is only happening because of the medicine the doctor gave her. She believes her mind is playing tricks on her. After dropping her daughters at school, Linda goes straight to the doctor's clinic. The doctor is there, but when Linda speaks to him, he does not recognize her at all. Linda tells him that something very strange is happening in her life. She explains that every morning her life seems normal, but by evening, her husband is dead again. She believes the lithium medicine is causing all this confusion. The doctor listens carefully but tells her that he never gave her any medicine. He says that everything she is experiencing is just a creation of her own mind. However, he adds that if she is already taking lithium, she should continue taking it regularly. Feeling lost and desperate, Linda then goes to Jim's office. Jim is there, busy with his work. Linda tries to explain everything to him about the days repeating, his death, and her fear. While they are talking, the same young woman suddenly appears, the girl Linda saw during Jim's funeral. Linda now learns that the girl is actually Jim's assistant. Jim leaves the office with her, which makes Linda feel uncomfortable. She begins to suspect that Jim and the girl might be having an affair. Feeling hurt and overwhelmed, Linda looks at the lithium bottle in her hand. She drops it into the wash basin and throws it away, deciding not to take it anymore. Soon after, it starts raining heavily outside. Linda tells her elder daughter that some clothes are kept outside and asks her to bring them in. The daughter runs toward the outside. Suddenly, Linda feels something is wrong and shouts for her to stop. As the girl turns back quickly, she crashes into a glass door. The glass cuts her face badly. At that exact moment, Linda realizes the truth. She finally understands how her daughter's face was injured before. After this, Jim comes back home and starts arguing with Linda. He says that she is not taking good care of their daughters. Linda gets upset and tells him that she is a good mother and that she always does her best for her children. The argument ends, but Linda feels very disturbed. Later, Linda puts her hand into her pocket and finds the page from the telephone directory that she had folded and kept with her. Without thinking much, she throws it into the dustbin. The moment she does this, she suddenly remembers something important. She realizes that the torn page she had found earlier in the dustbin was thrown away by her own hands. No one else did it. This shocks her deeply. Now Linda understands that something is seriously wrong with her life and with time itself. To make sense of everything, Linda takes a white sheet of paper and starts writing everything down clearly. She writes that on Monday, her husband was alive. On Tuesday, she visited the doctor, and on the same day, her daughter got injured. On Thursday, the police officer came to her house and told her that Jim had died one day earlier, which means on Wednesday, in a car accident after leaving for his trip. As Linda reads what she has written, she realizes something terrifying. If today is Tuesday, then tomorrow is Wednesday, and that is the day Jim is going to die. Just then, Jim comes home. Linda quickly hides the paper under the dining table cover so that he does not see it. She becomes very emotional and tells Jim that she does not want him to go on his business trip tomorrow. Jim says that the trip is very important and he cannot cancel it. Linda says that if he really must go, she will not stop him, but she asks him for one promise. She asks him to wake her up before he leaves in the morning. Jim agrees and promises her. The next morning, Linda wakes up and finds herself lying on the sofa. Her heart sinks. She sees her mother in the house. At that moment, Linda understands the truth without anyone saying a word. Her husband is dead. Her mother gently tells her that they now need to prepare for Jim's funeral. Before doing anything else, Linda says she wants to meet Jim's assistant, the same woman she had seen earlier at Jim's office. Linda goes to the woman's house and talks to her. During their conversation, Linda learns the truth. Jim was having an affair with her, but before his death, Jim had ended everything. He had decided that he did not want to leave his wife and children. Hearing this, Linda feels heartbroken, but she also understands Jim's final choice. From all this, Linda realizes that today is Friday. This means Jim died 2 days ago. 1 day earlier, on Thursday, the police officer had come and informed her about his death. Everything matches the pattern she had written on the paper. Soon after, an insurance agent contacts Linda. He tells her that before his death, Jim had tripled his insurance policy. Because of this, Linda and her daughters will not face money problems in the future. Even though this brings some relief, it does not ease Linda's pain. She is still deeply broken by Jim's death. Linda completes all the funeral preparations. The funeral is planned for the next day. That night, she goes to sleep feeling exhausted and empty inside. When Linda wakes up the next morning, she realizes something shocking. It is Sunday. This means she has returned to the beginning of the time loop once again. Jim is alive and sleeping beside her. Linda knows the truth now. Jim is going to die on the coming Wednesday if she does nothing. Determined to change fate, Linda sends Jim and her daughters out for a trip so that she can be alone. She then goes to the church and meets the priest. She tells him that very strange things are happening to her. She says that she knows events before they happen and that she wants to stop them from coming true. The priest listens carefully and calmly. He tells Linda that such things have happened to many people before. He says that she must trust herself. He tells her that she has been given this chance for a reason, and that she has the power to change what is going to happen. After this, Linda goes to the exact place where her husband Jim's accident happened before. On the roadside, she sees a signboard that reads 220 miles. Seeing that sign makes her heart heavy because she knows this place is very important. After staying there for a while, Linda returns home. Sometime later, Jim also comes back home with their daughters. Everything feels normal again, as if nothing bad is going to happen. That night, the whole family is sitting together. Linda looks at Jim and suddenly asks him how much he loves their daughters. Jim smiles and says that he loves them more than anything in the world. After that, Linda steps outside the house. Jim follows her because a storm is coming. The sky is dark and lightning flashes again and again. Suddenly, lightning strikes a pole nearby, killing a crow. Linda becomes very tense because she has already seen this exact moment before. Linda turns to Jim and tells him that even though many distances have grown between them over the years, she still loves him deeply. Jim also admits that he loves her very much. That night, after a long time, they truly reconnect. They talk honestly, share their feelings, and become close again. Linda even tells Jim about his death and the strange days she has been living. Jim gently tells her that it was only a dream and that she should not think about it too much. After many days, they finally feel like husband and wife again. The next morning, when Linda wakes up, Jim is not at home. She finds a note from him. In it, Jim writes that he has gone to drop their daughters at school and that he will meet her later. As soon as Linda reads this, she becomes extremely nervous. She quickly calls her friend and asks what day it is. Her friend tells her that it is Wednesday, the same day Jim is supposed to die. At the same time, we see Jim visiting an insurance agent. He increases his insurance policy so that if something happens to him, his family will not suffer in the future. After listening to Linda and seeing her fear, Jim has understood how important his family is. Linda leaves the house in a hurry to stop Jim. She wants to make sure he never reaches the 220 miles road. On the way, Jim calls his assistant, who is waiting to meet him. Jim clearly tells her that he does not want to see her anymore. Earlier, Jim had planned to leave Linda and start a new life with his assistant, but now he has changed his decision. He wants to stay with his wife and children. Jim then tries to call Linda, but she does not answer because she has already left to find him. So Jim leaves a voice message for her. While he is recording the message and trying to explain everything, another call comes in, and the message suddenly cuts off. This is why, at the very beginning of the story, Linda heard an incomplete voice message from Jim. The call that interrupted him was actually Linda's own call. Linda later tells Jim that she already knows what he wanted to say. She knows how much he loves her and their daughters. All the misunderstandings and distances between them are now gone. Linda follows Jim's car closely. She tells him over the phone that she is right behind him. Jim looks in the mirror and sees Linda's car following him. He stops his car at the same place where the 220-mile signboard is standing, the exact place where his accident happened before. Linda begs Jim to move his car away from that spot. Jim starts to move the car, and at that moment, another car almost crashes into him. Jim narrowly escapes. Linda feels relieved and believes that the accident has finally been stopped. But suddenly, a huge oil tanker comes speeding toward them. Jim's car gets stuck. Linda screams at him to get out of the car, but he is unable to do so in time. The car crashes into the oil tanker, causing a massive explosion. Jim dies in that terrible blast. Linda finally understands the truth. No matter how hard she tried, she could not change Jim's fate. The priest had warned her, and now his words come true. Jim's death could not be stopped. However, before dying, Jim and Linda had cleared all their misunderstandings. They had loved each other fully again, and that gives Linda some peace. A few months later, we see Linda once more. She is now pregnant and living a peaceful life with her 2 daughters. She has accepted what happened. By accepting her fate, she has found calmness in her heart. With this, the story and the film come to an end. We hope you like this story.